Hi guys, this is Jamie from Mastery Math Lab, and in this video you're going to learn how to complete the square in a quadratic equation. So first let's go over what is a quadratic equation. So on the top here I have the equation x squared minus 10x equals 40. Now this is a quadratic equation because the largest exponent, which is on this term, is 2. Now there are several ways to solving an equation like this. You can use factoring, you can use the quadratic formula, but today I'm going to focus on completing the square. Okay, so the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are constants. So for this example that I give you here, x squared minus 12x plus 36, we're going to go ahead and identify what is your a. So the a is the coefficient, or the number in front of the x squared, which in this case is 1. Remember, if you don't see a number, the number is 1. B is the coefficient in front of x, or the coefficient of x, or the number in front of x. Now be careful here, this is negative 12, you keep the sign. And c is your constant, which in this case is positive 36. So now that you can identify parts of your quadratic equation, let's move on to discuss what it is to be a perfect square trinomial. But first, let's do it with numbers so you can understand what it means to be a perfect square. So for example, 25 is a perfect square. Why? Because I can rewrite 25 as 5 squared. 36 is another perfect square because I can rewrite it as 6 squared. Now let's see how this applies to our quadratic equation, and in order to do that we're going to have to factor. So when I factor x squared minus 12x plus 36, I get two of the same factors. Both of them are x minus 6. So I can go ahead and rewrite this as x minus 6 squared equals 0. So I get a perfect square here on the left side. Now let's see how this applies to completing the square. So your goal for completing the square is to figure out what constant goes in the blank that I gave, so that when you factor, you get two of the same factors. So to do this, you need to use b, which is the coefficient of the x, and take half of it, or divide by 2. That gives you negative 5. So now you're going to take that negative 5 and you're going to square it, and that gives you a positive 25. So 25 is the number that goes on the blank. But remember, you just added 25 to the left side, so to balance the equation, you must also add 25 to the right side. So when I put it all together, on the left side I get x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals, and on the right side I have 40 plus 25, which is 65. So now let's go ahead and factor the left side of the equation. So when I factor the left side, I get x minus 5 times x minus 5 equals 65. And since I have two of the same factors, I can go ahead and rewrite it as x minus 5 squared equals 65. Now that I've completed the square, I can go ahead and answer the following questions. For part A, it says the left-hand side of the equation becomes x minus 5. And for part B, the right-hand side of the equation becomes 65. Hopefully this helps. If you have more questions, please come into the Mastery Math Lab for additional help. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.